I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of October 5th, 2016. October, do you believe it? This is crazy talk. And it's 80 some odd degrees today in Ohio, which is totally weird. This was a monster week for comics, all kinds of number ones, which we'll get to as we progress here. But for those of you just joining us, we work at a comic shop called Alter Ego Comics in Lima, Ohio. Every week we read a ton of new releases the night before New Comic Book Day, and then we come back and tell you what we like the most with the hopes that you will take our advice and support comics that are awesome. This week, my pick, Green Valley, number 1, written by Max Landis, artwork by Giuseppe Camuncoli. This is a... What era is this?
I would say 1300s, 1400s. There's not actually any locations that tell you it's on Earth, so it could just be a generic fantasy.
Could be fantasy. I don't see anything in here that tells me it's fantasy.
Right.
So it could just be straight up, Camelot era knights and that sort of thing. Group of 4 guys that actually they're called the Knights of whatever, Caledonia, maybe something like that. Who defend the innocent. They are essentially the A-Team. They are the A-Team in the 1300s, 1400s, which is great. And now I have the A-Team theme running through my head. So these 4 guys that are essentially a band of brothers defending the innocent, they take on a barbarian horde of 400 and turn them away because they are so awesome. But unfortunately, the barbarians didn't take that too kindly, and some very bad stuff happened. So one of the main characters is thinking about leaving the band. He's the John Lennon leaving for Yoko, and that's also kind of a central story point here. I can't really compare this to anything else. It's except the A-Team. It's kind of its own thing. And Max Landis, who wrote Superman American Alien, and who is a big-time comic nerd with a famous father who directs movies like Gremlins.
So it's worth noting that Matt Landis also does movies.
He did.
He wrote American Ultra. He wrote that Frankenstein movie that was out last year.
He did?
Yeah, with Daniel Radcliffe and Professor X.
What's the one I'm thinking of? Chronicle.
Oh, Chronicle. Yeah, he wrote that.
Did he direct it?
No, it was directed by the guy that directed Josh Trank, who directed the Fantastic Four, of which we do not speak.
Yes. So Landis is a great writer. In fact, I would put him... It was a tough call for me this week between Jessica Jones and Green Valley, but his dialogue and his character interaction is very Bendis-y, I think. And maybe it's because his name is Landis. Bendis? So you need to pick up Green Valley number 1. It's published by Image, actually Skybound, which is Robert Kirkman's imprint over at Image. Just really, really good stuff. And then, the comic itself was awesome, and then I got to the back and you read a little note from Max Landis, and he's basically saying you ain't seen nothing yet. And the first issue packs a big punch. So you will walk by it on the racks because you're totally unfamiliar with the title, but you totally should pick it up. It was awesome.
Yeah, I actually got a digital preview of the second issue, and the second issue was also equally awesome. I'm a big fan of people who write historical or fantasy type stuff in the modern vernacular. Yes. Because to some guy in the 1800s or the 1300s or whenever or wherever it is, other people sound normal. They use their own slang and stuff, and none of that's going to read to us. So using a modern tone to have them interact in a meaningful and realistic way, it really goes a long way towards making stories like that work.
I agree 100%.
My pick of this week
is a pizza pie.
A pizza pie. Champions number 1, written by Mark Waid with art by Humberto Ramos. So basically, following the events of Civil War, or as a result of some of the things involved in Civil War, some of the finest, newest, youngest heroes in the Marvel Universe have said they're not going to take it anymore. They're not going to be part of their fathers' and grandfathers' system of heroism where they allow things to be destroyed and move on to the next big event and leave people to put their lives back together. So Miss Marvel, Nova, and Spider-Man Miles Morales have left the Avengers, the all-new, all-different Avengers, because they're not happy with the way things are being run with the fallout on the common man. And they sort of assembled amongst them a team, including the totally awesome Hulk Amadeus Cho, and Liv?
Is it Viv? I think
It's
it's
Viv.
Viv. Yeah.
Vision, Vision's daughter from Tom King's awesome Vision book. And according to the cover, little boy Cyclops, or Tyclops, except he's not actually in this issue. But we're presuming
he's towards the end.
Yeah, but yeah.
So are lots of other people, though.
Yes. And it's great. These are some of our favorite characters. I mean, literally every one of these, their book has been our pick of the week at least once. And to see them all together under the hand of a master like Mark Waid is great. Sometimes people aren't wild about didactism in comics. You don't want a message to be necessarily forwarded. You want a story. And there's definitely the reason the team is coming together is certainly message-oriented, and it's a little bit relevant to our time, especially the way they word it in some cases. And Mark Waid is not new to that. There's a strong argument that Kingdom Come, one of the greatest comics ever written, and certainly written by Waid, is a philosophical argument about the nature of comics and the nature of heroism. And this is kind of a similar thing, except more awesome and with young people kicking butts. And it's fun, it's exciting, it's new, and yeah, it's great.
It reminds me of the Chris Claremont, John Byrne X-Men to some degree. So get in on the ground floor with Champions, and I hope people buy this, and I hope it keeps going for a long time. Because it's the team that we need now, and it's a team that's definitely a reflection of society. It was awesome. Awesome. Jessica Jones, #1 now. Jessica Jones is back in her first solo series in 10 years by the creators of Jessica Jones, Brian Michael Bendis on the words and Michael Gaydos on the artwork. And this is a parental advisory title, not for kids, so kids don't buy this book. Only grown-ups can. This leaves me with a lot of questions. I don't know if this is canon. I don't know when this takes... I know when it takes place. I think. It takes place kind of present day, or maybe a little ways in the future. But Jessica Jones's world is upside down in this first issue. I don't want to give too much away, but I will lead with she is just getting out of prison in the first issue. And I will also continue with that she and Luke are not together in this first issue. And there's the big question of their child. Where is she? And this is just great stuff, but leaving me scratching my head going, what is going on? Is this an alternate reality? Did somebody get mind wiped? I don't know. Well,
from a certain point of view, either a significant portion or everyone got mind wiped with Secret Wars.
Oh, Secret Wars.
Because there was an 8-month jump, and then Daredevil's also mind wiped a bunch of people when he got his identity back, presumably. However, people don't know that Matt is Murdoch or is Daredevil, and they're both Daredevil aficionados or associates.
So the bottom line with this is it's totally worth picking up.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're an existing fan of Jessica Jones from the comics. This is significantly different than the TV series, but it's not too complicated for fans of the TV series to jump into this as well. That's one of the disappointing things that we've noticed here in the shop is that Jessica Jones has not necessarily, the Netflix series has not translated to higher sales of the original Alias series that Bendis and Gaydos did, because it is so good, and it really fits in with the Netflix TV series.
Well, the Netflix TV series is adapted from it. I mean, it's...
So if for one reason or another you're a fan of the Jessica Jones Netflix series and you've never read a Jessica Jones comic, either jump in and pick this first issue up or go back and pick up the Alias trades because they are excellent. So this met my expectations. Actually exceeded my expectations, but I'm very confused. So,
apparently you were a lot more confused by that than I was.
Really? I
mean, no, they don't give you a lot of information. It's a mystery. There's things being dropped into place, but it didn't bother me. Next up, we've got Angel City, written by Janet Harvey, art illustrated by Megan Levins.
Hairball.
This is from Oni Press. This is a tale of kind of classic Hollywood during the studio system. You've got a starlet found in a dumpster. You've got a woman who's an enforcer for the mob. You've got a friend who's a reporter digging into the woman in the dumpster. And it's great. If you liked stuff like Brubaker's, what's the name of the book?
Fade Out.
The Fade Out. This is very similar tonally and time-wise. And it's great. Solid dialogue. They do a good job of, like we were talking about earlier, talking in period speak, but not so in period speak that it's disjoining. And yeah, I think the characters are really cohesive. Like, you really get a feel for who they are in relatively little dialogue, which leaves you the rest of the book to enjoy. We get some flashbacks setting up the main character and how a potential starlet became essentially a mob enforcer. We've got dirty cops and all sorts of golden, dirty Hollywood stuff.
Yes, this is for fans of the movie L.A. Confidential,
Absolutely.
of fans of the Black Dahlia murder, and definitely the Fade Out, and it's top notch. Great writing, great artwork. Glad that Oni put this out. And again, this is one that many people may pass by because it's an Oni book, and it may not. The cover artwork should grab you because it's very eye catching. This is good stuff. Check this one out, folks. Also, another number one this week that a lot of people have been waiting for, He-Man Thundercats number one. Written by two people, Rob David and Lloyd Goldfine, and drawn by Freddie Williams II. Now, let me preface my comments by saying, I was never a huge fan of either one of these properties. I was a fan. It was a little behind me age-wise, but I did watch the He-Man cartoon. I watched the Thundercats cartoon. My brother had some of the He-Man figures. He's 5 years younger than I am. But I really dug this, and I think a lot of it has to do with Freddie Williams' artwork. It's amazing. For the artwork alone, you need to pick up this book. It is phenomenal. But the story is great too because it gels. It brings these two universes together in a very logical way, and it's just it was a fun read. It's a fun throwback to the carefree 80s. At least for me, they were carefree. Not so much for maybe Ronald Reagan or the Pope, but this was just really, really cool. If you're a fan of either one of these properties, you totally need to pick it up. I'm curious to see where they're going with this because something major happens at the end of the first issue with one of the characters, and I don't want to give it away, but there's a scene where it seems almost out of the Thor movie to some degree, where Prince Adam is being honored by his parents, and he oversleeps and he gets there late, and they have commentary from the other masters of the universe, and Ram Man is like, I can't see because he's so short. Just really good stuff. Don't hesitate to pick this up. You'll be glad you did. Oh, am I going again? Okay. Cage, number one, by Jendi Tartakovsky, the creator of Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack. Did he do the Powerpuff Girls? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Cage, dig it. This is a 70s era Luke Cage tiara and yellow puffy shirt. And I like this a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's if you read it like you're watching Shaft,
right,
or I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, or something like that, then you're gonna totally dig it. It's awesome, and it's so timely with the Luke Cage series being on Netflix. Tonally, they're completely different. Oh, yeah. But it's kind of neat to see. I mean, Luke Cage has been written in a variety of different ways over the years, and this definitely has a humorous slant to it. But it's that 70s era blaxploitation feel rather than the modern Luke Cage, and it was just good to. This was a breath of fresh air along with my regular dose of reading, and his artwork is cool. You get some guest appearances by some of the X-Men in here, and just really cool. Don't hesitate. Cage is awesome.
Dig
it.
You have to pronounce the explanation point.
Cage! I did dig it.
Next up for me are all of the other number ones that came out this week. So here's a list of the many, many new and awesome comics. We've got Moonshine number one from Image. This is written by Brian Azzarello with art by Eduardo Rizzo. Azzarello you may remember from a laundry list of awesome, gritty comics, and this is no exception. This is a Prohibition-era tale of gangsters who need a new source for booze, and they hear the best booze is in them there hills. They send one of their guys to go get a connection with a backwoods Appalachia moonshiner, but it turns out that there's something darker and potentially mystical and murdery going on, and it was great. Deadpool Back in Black, written by Colin Bunn with art by Mark Salva Espin. If you remember, during Deadpool's Secret Wars, he briefly had the Venom symbiote. This is a new miniseries talking about Deadpool and the Venom symbiote together. There's a lot of cool 80s nostalgia stuff and comic references, and Deadpool was really all I needed to say. Shade the Changing Girl. This is the next book in the Young Animal imprint, overseen by Gerard Way. This particular series is written by Cecil Castellucci with art by Marley Zancone and Kelly Fitzpatrick, or Fitzpatrick the inker. No, Zarcone's the artist alone. So if you recall, Shade the Changing Man, largely written by Pete Milligan, I believe, which was super weird about a madness suit and trippy as all get out. This is a new version of that. It's a lot like Booster Gold. In some weird alien museum, a girl tricks or convinces the security guard to let her have access to the changing vest, the madness vest that Shade always wore, and then uses it to go trip out and jump into a girl on Earth. And I was surprised with as trippy as it started, with how kind of dark and realistic it got with the girl's life and the stuff on Earth. So definitely something out of the ordinary if you like your weirder stuff. Death of Hawkman #1 is a 6-issue mini from DC, written by Marc and Josh with art by Aaron Lepestri. And this is a Adam Strange and Hawkman story. The first issue, at least, even though it's called Death of Hawkman, is largely an Adam Strange story. Hawkman's in the first 2 or 3 pages, and the rest is about how Strange. It's a flashback showing how it all started, featuring Adam Strange. So if you're enjoying Hawkman on Legends of Tomorrow or Adam Strange, just anytime, I actually really like the characterization. It made him more real and human than I'm used to Adam Strange being, since he's kind of a classic era character. Another 6-issue from DC, we've got Midnighter and Apollo, still written by Steve Orlando, who wrote the last Midnighter series, which was really well received critically, with art by Salvador Blanco, we'll say, Marty Blanco, Fernando Blanco. I was close. Fernando. And this is, it's just more Midnighter madness. He and Apollo are together, and it's about what's going on in his life. He's starting. There's definitely Fallout stuff from the previous series, but you can pick it up. They kind of recount a lot of the stuff to show. So you have a broad understanding of who Midnighter and Apollo are. You can pick it up and follow it. If you don't have a broad understanding, they're knockoff Superman and Batman.
And you should read The Authority.
Sidebar: DC announced that they're bringing back the Wildstorm imprint. But did you see Tom Taylor's tweet? Mm-hmm. Apparently, when the Wildstorm universe went away the last time, he was writing The Authority. And I love Tom Taylor and I love The Authority, so I need to find those. Hopefully it's in trade. Archie meets the Ramones. The Ramones, #1. So we have a tale of magic and time travel that meets the Archies with the Ramones. We've also got appearances by Sabrina and Josie and the Pussycats and all of your Archie favorites. And it was just a love letter to a certain time and a certain place and a certain style of music that is typified by the Ramones.
Although I think if Archie and the gang went into CBGBs, they would get their asses kicked. So this is all fancy.
Well, no, they work on that because Archie's like, I'm a huge Ramones fan because he's from the future. He's not, obviously. They're back in the present, or they're present. And the Ramones are like, you don't look like a punk. And Betty's like, and what's more punk than that? So
Archie's a punk rocker.
Yeah.
All right, so we had some comment in last week's episode asking why we didn't talk about book X, actually was The Flash, which Josh and I are still hugely enjoying, but it didn't make the top 6 of books to talk about because it's in the middle of a storyline, and we try and focus on first issues or good jumping on points or areas like that, unless it's just truly outstanding.
Right.
Excuse me. So, this week we decided to mention all of the stuff that we read last night that we still liked. So for me, that includes Superman #8. This was super cool and actually almost made my cutoff point for things to talk about in depth. Escape from Dinosaur Island Part 1. Superman and Son are on Dinosaur Island.
With Crypto,
I should say. And it's a loving tribute to Darwin Cook. Amazing Spider-Man #19. This continues the Before Dead No More storyline, and we witness the end of a Spider-Man supporting character, so you're going to want to check that one out. Paper Girls continues to be awesome. This is the end of a story arc, and all of our Paper Girls may or may not be reunited by the end of this issue. And then Night of the Monster Men has 2 parts out this week in Batman number 8 and Nightwing number 6, both of which were very enjoyable. One more part to go in Night of the Monster Men, and that's in Detective Comics, coming out, I think, next week. So.
I think that's right,
Yeah.
Also awesome on my side, Invincible Iron Man 14, Brian Bendis writing Tony Stark, What More Do You Need in Life? All New Wolverine 13, written by Tom Taylor. Start of the Enemy of the State storyline, Enemy of the State 2 storyline, where Laura may... Well, I mean, if you've read the original Enemy of the State, Wolverine was sort of mind-controlled by the Hand into being a murder bot, and that may be what happens to Laura. Tom Taylor's awesome. And Doctor Strange number 12, this is the first part of Blood in the Aether, and the big deal is Baron Mordo and Dormammu have come back to screw with Strange. Somehow Dormammu and or Baron Mordo have maintained a significant portion of their magical might, while Doctor Strange is running on fumes and fairy dust and woodcraft. And it's just super awesome to see a character that's normally borderline all-powerful have to really scratch and scrape and brain his way out of it. He's like Matt Damon in The Martian. He has to magic the shit out of this. He has to find a way to get it to work, and it's great. And last up, you know what the best days are? The best days are when Giant Days trades come out, and that's what today is. Today is the time when we get Giant Days Volume 3, written by John Allison. Is it John? You'd think there'd be a credit page. Yeah, John Allison. Illustrated by Max Theron. Giant Days is consistently one of the funniest books that gets put out every month. It's published by Boom. It is awesome. You should.
Who's it for?
It's for everyone, but it's especially for... It definitely speaks to people who are familiar with the college experience. It's set at a college or university in England. The cast is almost exclusively female, although there are a lot of strong elements, so it probably does play well with the female reader base. But I think it's for anybody that like Parks and Rec. This is like Parks and Rec, the college years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a Nick Offerman character?
There is, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
I've read the first volume. I haven't...
The guy with the mustache?
Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, he didn't strike me that way.
Well, but in the first couple episodes, neither did Nick Offerman. It took a while for him to really come
I'm trying to remember his name. Ron Swanson. There we go. Yes. So look at this. So our combined stacks of comics, you can't really see, but it's a mighty stack of things that we enjoyed this week. This is crazy. I can't remember a week where there has been this much cool stuff. So, all right, a couple of requests. First, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up. We need your thumbs up on the YouTubes. Second, if you want to stay in the loop when we add new videos, hit the subscribe button and become a subscriber, because we love our subscribers. Number 3, let us know in the comments below whether you liked this new thing that we're doing, where we're talking about all the books that we liked at the end, just so you know that we haven't fallen off a series, or a series hasn't turned horribly bad. Let us know if you like that, because actually I like doing it. But the more that we can share comics that we enjoyed, I think the better off the comic industry will be, because there's so much good stuff out there. Something for every taste, something for everybody, and we need to reward and acknowledge those that are putting out excellent comics. That's it. I think. You got anything else to add?
No.
Okay. So, another episode is in the can. And apparently I took my happy pills this morning. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.